Council meeting of April the 8th, 2019. We are beginning tonight with 3 public hearings. I am going to be reading a public hearing statement. I won't be reading this between each of the public hearings, but you'll hear that one is adjourned and then we'll get on to the second one, okay? So the public hearing is being held pursuant to Section 465 of the Local Government Act. During this public hearing, anyone who believes that his or her interest is affected by the proposed development will be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard or to present written submissions respecting matters contained in the bylaws that are the subject of the hearings. All information, correspondence, petitions, or reports that have been received concerning the subject bylaws have been made available to the public. Council may ask questions of staff and public, but once the public hearing is over, no new information can be received. Council debate on the bylaw will take place when the bylaw is considered after the conclusion of the public hearing, so that will be later tonight. They'll be each looked at individually. At that time, any questions of staff will be for clarification purposes only. I will be inviting the public to come forward and present their comments. Speakers are asked to state their name and address for the record. They are encouraged to limit their remarks to 5 minutes and should include all of the relevant information in their presentation. Further opportunity will be afforded for all persons to speak a second or third time once all persons have had an opportunity to speak. I would now like to ask the Director of Development Services or Manager of Planning to introduce the first item.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The first item we have on the agenda is a zoning bylaw amendment for the property located at 919 Wharf Street. This property is within the Trout Creek area neighborhood. This is a fairly large property and it's surrounded by a number of undeveloped parcels or underdeveloped parcels. The lot has a total lot area of 4,055.2 square meters. The proposal is to rezone the property from residential estate lot, which is RSD3, to residential medium lot, which is RSD1. Prior to receiving this application, Development Services received an application to subdivide the property. However, due to our panhandle policy and the possibility for land assembly in the future to make the maximum use of development potential of the surrounding underdeveloped lots, the application was not supportable. However, we recommended that the applicant bring an application forward to rezone the property to allow for 2 single-family dwellings on the lot, provided that the newly proposed single-family dwelling on the lot is sited in such a way as to allow for future development potential. You can see the lot here, a fairly long lot. Most of the property is treed with fruit trees, I understand. However, there's an area in the bottom portion, or the southernmost portion of the lot, appropriate for the single-family dwelling, which is where the applicant would like to place their home. By allowing this rezoning application to proceed, the results will be 2 single-family dwellings on the lot, and allow for future development potential of the adjacent properties. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to invite anyone that wishes to speak to this public hearing for 919 Wharf Street to come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is David Bromberger. This is my wife, Judy. We are residents at 5009 Nixon Road, which is the property, lot 6, right beside, on the bottom there, going this way. It's 1 acre. So our house is situated on a bit of an angle. It faces right onto this lot, the front door. If I can give you a little bit of a visual. Our house is like that. It's not facing this way, so it's looking right onto this. We're not in favor of this rezoning, mainly because we don't believe that there should be 2 houses on the same property. This hasn't happened before, to our knowledge, in Summerland, and it sets a dangerous precedent. You've got 2 lots right beside it with the exact same configuration who would likely come forward with the same idea if this is permitted to take place. There's also on the other side of that, on the other side of Woods, if you look at all the properties that are on the lake, they're all large enough as well to have a second dwelling on the property. And we just don't think that that's what is basically permitted by the bylaws at this particular point in time. Summerland has carriage houses, they permit carriage houses. If these people want more dwelling space on their property, they can build a house and have a carriage house for extra space. If you're going to allow two houses on the same property, it could lead to short-term rentals, which are not legal. Other people on the lake, given the area that we're in, could also look at that as a way to get more housing on their property with short-term rentals. Whether it's legal or not, it's going to happen. So that's not what we think is intended here. They have the option of subdividing, like you said, so I don't see why they don't just go ahead and do that. And I also don't see how they're going to access those properties if they're going to put the house where it is in the future. So, I mean, there's plenty, the fruit trees that are there, if you know anything about fruit, they're very old growth. They're not,
About 9 of them.
you know, so they're not producing, it's not like it's a producing orchard for any kind of business purposes or anything like that. It's simply a hobby orchard, which I've got nothing against. I love looking at them and everything else, but to use that as a reason to put the house where it is, not a particularly good reason in my mind. And so we just think they should live within the rules. They can take the house down that's at the front there and put their house wherever they want on that property, but panhandle access is not going to work for the future for access in terms of subdividing that off or giving access to those properties at the back.
We also think that if you start to allow 2 full-sized homes on lots, it diminishes the value of our property. And we take a lot of pride in our property and want it to maintain its value. Trout Creek is changing, and there's you know, some major differences going on there now, and it's a little unsettling that, you know, those of us that have these unique pieces of property, we think that that's something that's you know, part of Trout Creek's appeal. We'd like it to stay that way.
In fact, we were told, just for your benefit, we looked at subdividing our property in 2. We were going to build our own home on the front and sell the back piece. There's a 14-foot wide driveway going in there. The city planners told us that we had to put a 60-foot road in to provide access to all these back lots.
With the potential to provide access.
Which, who knows if any of the people that are on those lots would ever going to use it for that purpose.
I think people purchase these pieces of property, they know that what they're purchasing is what they're getting. You know, to think that you can actually, down the road, put 2 homes on one lot without subdividing is just against our ideas of what should be happening there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else care to speak to this public hearing number 1? Thank you.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and Council. I live at 5215 Nixon Road, which is right there. And so I've been a neighbor with these property owners for quite a few years.
Excuse me, may I ask your name, please?
Oh, sorry, it's Tracy Batten,
Thank you.
5215 Nixon Road. As the previous speaker said, I've lived in Trout Creek for just about 30 years. It is changing. Some of the things I'm not too pleased about, but change is change and it's going to happen. But in this case, I actually support this rezoning because I think what it's doing is keeping the lot as one large parcel, which does maintain the character of our neighborhood. And I do support it. The way I look at it is the owner could knock down the house and then they could just build wherever they wished on the property. So I think this is a really great solution to what these owners are trying to do. And additionally, I'd just like to thank them because they've been very open and letting their neighbors know what was going on, and I appreciate that as well. So, thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else wish to speak to this public hearing? I'll ask for a second time. Is there anyone in the gallery that would like to speak to public hearing number 1 for 919 Wharf Street? And for the third and final time, anybody else care to come to the podium to speak? All right. So I will call for adjournment then, if a councillor could bring that forward. Thank you, Councillor Van Elfen. Councillor Holmes. All those in favor? Thank you. So that's 6:41. On to public hearing number 2. And again, I will turn it over to Mr. David Patey, our planner, manager of planning. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This next application we have is a rezoning application again for a property located at 8323 Pervez Road. This lot is quite close to our downtown. It's currently within the residential duplex housing zone. The application is to rezone that property to residential medium lot zone to facilitate a 2-lot subdivision. As you can see in the site plan, this lot is a fairly irregularly shaped lot. It has a total lot area of 1,621 square meters in area, so quite a large lot. The proposal is to subdivide a small portion to the east of the existing home, resulting in a 465 square meter lot. And that would allow for 2 separate single-family dwellings. Currently, the allowable density on the lot is for 2 units in the form of a duplex. However, the applicant would like to subdivide the property in order to have 2 separated single-family dwellings on this lot. So this rezoning application doesn't result in a change in density at all. It has been demonstrated that both lots meet all the conditions of the zoning bylaw with respect to area, depth, and frontage, and the lot has a provable, buildable area on the lot greater than 100 square meters. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the gallery that would like to speak to this application?
Good evening. My name is Susie Haberkamp, and this is my husband, Sean Goodsell. We live at the property directly below this one, and one of the things that wasn't indicated is that it's quite a steep hill, and that's one of our main concerns. We've been at this property for 23 years.
May I just have your address,
Oh, I'm
please?
sorry, 8319 Purvis.
Thank you.
We've lived at that house for 23 years and have gone through this a few times because in the old OCP, it wasn't a large enough property to subdivide, but the new OCP does allow that. So of course, when we first got the application, we were a little bit concerned with the initial measurements. Kevin Taylor, the planner, has assured us that they did submit a surveyed map, which does follow. One concern we have is the original home. If you look at their access, it is a minimum of 12 feet, which is what is required, their frontage. 12 meters, I'm sorry. 12 feet wouldn't work very well. 12 meters. But if you look at the measurement, and this map might be a little bit different than the one we got in the mail, but they measured on a V rather than a straight line. Has that changed in the surveyed plan? The plan we got in the mail.
That's the survey.
That's okay. So was it straight across? We've never received that one. So anyway, I was concerned that the line was not straight and they were measuring on a V and kind of stretching to get that 12 meters. So that was one of our concerns. Another one is the slope. The allowable slope that is now allowed in the OCP is 30%. This was told it was 28%, so it's really tight in such a small and oddly shaped lot. So we have concerns with that. We did a huge reno in 2007, and because of the slope and the area, we had to get a geotech inspection for drainage and slope stability. one thing we were required to do was create a 8-foot deep by 5-foot in diameter drainage pit that needed to be 10 feet from our home and a 2% slope away from our home. So with this small lot, I'm kind of concerned how that's going to fit in. Something similar, I would imagine, would be required of this home. And, you know, will there be a drainage or a retaining wall have to be put in? Lots of concerns about drainage because there are flooding issues and drainage issues on that hill. I did send a photo too with my package, and there's a power pole right where the proposed driveway is going to be with a brace on it. I'm curious what's going to happen there because I'm not sure where a power pole will fit on that hill. Another concern we have is, as I mentioned, it's a very steep hill, and I believe it was May or June of last year, a car coming down Richards, and then it's a 90-degree angle turning down into Purvis, went right over the bank at their property where the proposed new driveway would be for this new home, flipped over the bank against our fence. So we're a little curious, how is the district going to assure safety for that new property, the people that are living there, because right now they put a barricade in so people can no longer go off the bank, but that will be removed with the driveways being put in. What else am I worried about? Oh, and again, as I've mentioned, it's a very steep hill. Our daughters go up and down it. There's lots of pedestrian traffic, lots of cyclists, skateboarders, and this driveway will be mid-hill of a steep hill, which is another car coming in and out, backing onto that hill. We have a huge driveway, and it's dangerous. You have to kind of crawl out when you go into the street, and turning into our driveway, you kind of have to arc out to come into it. So this driveway will be right after a 90-degree corner going down a hill. So those are all concerns that we have. I realize a lot of these concerns are probably not at the rezoning level, but more at the subdivision level. But I'm curious as to, if it looks like it might not go ahead at the subdivision level, why approve this at the rezoning level? It seems like a waste of staff time and taxpayer money. So those are our concerns. Did you have anything else?
No, the major concerns were driveway access, because if they're sharing a driveway, that would almost make more sense, using an existing driveway that works for them. But unless you've been there and looked at the hill, a driveway coming out there, it's a narrow road, it is dangerous. So that is one of the concerns. And then just everything slopes down to our property, so we're just concerned how the end result is going to be. If there is a building, if everything gets approved, how that's going to be addressed. We have some concerns about that.
Thank you. Your 5 minutes is
Sorry, thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak to this property on Purvis Road?
There was one piece of correspondence from them. My name is Craig Antrobus. I live at 13705 Summergate Drive. I've worked on this project for the Bennetts, who are the owners of the other property. We've gone through all the engineering with as far as the rezoning requirements, the 12-meter road frontage as the plan is measured at the setback line. That's why it's on an angle, because it's measured at the setback line of the property. The slope meets all the requirements of rezoning, the roadway, everything is in total compliance with the rezoning requirements. There's no variances required, there's no special considerations required, and of course it's a perfect example of infilling, which is what the district is really looking for, so we hope that you approve it.
Thank you. I will ask again if there's anybody else that would like to come to the podium to speak to this. For the third and final time, is there anyone in the gallery that would like to speak to this subdivision, it is a subdivision application. No, it's rezoning, sorry. on Purvis Road. All right, so could I have somebody in council move to adjourn, please? Thank you. Councillor Van Elf and Councillor Carlson, all in favor? Approved. So on to public hearing number 3. Mr. Pady.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, we have another rezoning application before us for a property located at 11722 Prairie Valley Road. This property is sort of at the westernmost serviced area of Prairie Valley Road, west of the downtown, approximately a kilometer west of downtown Summerland. This lot has an area of 1,306.7 square meters, so large enough to facilitate a 2-lot subdivision, which is the purpose of this rezoning application. This lot wasn't subdivided prior to this date because it wasn't formally serviced, and now that the lot is serviced by sanitary services, they are able to proceed with proposing this subdivision. The total area is 1,306.7. The resulting subdivision will result in 2 lots. The lot, which currently has a single-family dwelling on it, will have a lot area of 861 square meters. I'll bring up that one, sorry. And the proposed lot will have an area of 463 square meters. As you can see by the site plan, it's demonstrated that a single-family dwelling can easily be sited on the northernmost lot, the lot to be created. And there's really not much else to say about this. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Is there anyone that would like to speak to this public hearing number 3 on Prairie Valley Road, 11722 Prairie Valley Road? I'll ask for the second time. Is there anyone that would like to speak to this public hearing? For the third and final time, is there anyone that would like to come to the podium and speak to 11722 Prairie Valley Road? All right, Council, I'm looking to you to bring this forward, please. Councillor Traynor, Councillor Patton, all those in favor of adjourning the meeting. Thank you. All right. So, do we need to wait till 7? Yeah, we should. Okay, a brief recess now. We will be starting our regular council meeting at 7 p.m. Thank you.